Okay, good afternoon everyone and welcome. A very warm welcome to those attending and also to any viewers watching live on the Council's YouTube channel, Hillingdon, London. The details of the business to be considered today is shown on the agenda, copies of which are available in the room, and it's also accessible online under the live broadcast. For those present in the room and intending to speak, please note that you'll be filmed and any statements you make will be recorded and made public. For those who are solely observing in the room today, you may wish to know that the camera is angled away from the public gallery where you are sitting, so you will not be seen. At the end of the public part of the meeting, when the committee moves to discuss any confidential matters, the live broadcast on the YouTube will be cut. A reminder to anyone speaking today that your voice will only be audible online if your microphone is switched on. We're not expecting any fire drills, so if the fire alarm does go off, please follow the officers to the fire exits and out of the building to the designated meeting point, which is on the forecourt of the Civic Centre. Please make sure your mobile devices are switched off. I hope my colleagues will make sure theirs are switched off. We're usually the culprits that have them ringing during the meeting. Should we need to move into part two, and I don't believe that we will, all this agenda will be in part one, I will make the necessary statements. So we'll commence the meeting, I think, with some introductions to start with. The councillors who are going to make the decisions today are myself, Councillor David Yarrow, who is chairing the meeting, Councillor Stead and Councillor Allen. Also present is Stephanie Waterford, who is the licensing officer for the day, and Adam Stitson, who is our community safety officer. Kate Bolter at the end is our democratic services officer, who will try to keep me in order and make sure we don't do anything wrong, and Nicole Cameron is my legal representative for the day. Perhaps it's a good idea if I ask you to introduce yourselves, and then it gets you started into the rhythm of the things.
Yes. Yeah. Mr. G. Singh, the licensee, license holder, the shop owner, the occupier of that subject. I am from Utopia. It's a volunteer organisation. I try to help people wherever they need help. My name is Indranil Chakraborty. I am an accountant, in a nutshell.
Will you be doing all the speaking, or will
most of it? Unless there are some facts which, of course, Mr. Singh knows far better than I do. So in that case, I have to ask Mr. Singh to speak, to see if he will.
Okay. Councillor Gillan, would you like to join in as you're part of the meeting?
Thank you very much.
Will these YouTube videos be copyrighted, or I can publish it into my website?
I'm not so sure about that, but I guess anything's free on the internet these days.
Oh, it's public domain, is it?
It's in the public domain.
And keep smiling to the camera.
Okay, let's start the meeting now formally. Have we got any apologies for absence? No, didn't think we did. Are there any declarations of interest in matters coming before this meeting? No? I can confirm all the items of business are going to be in part one. I don't believe there are any matters that have been notified in advance or taken as urgent. I have none. So, on with the meeting, which is item 5, the renewal of application for temporary street trading licence outside £1 plus 37 Station Road, West Drayton. Stephanie, if you could lead us into this.
Thank you, Chairman. Good afternoon, everybody. This is an application to renew a temporary street trading licence for the premises known as £1 plus on 37 Station Road, West Drayton. The applicant, Mr. Singh, seeks permission to have a shopfront display stretching 1 metre in depth from the shopfront boundary. Mr. Singh has held a street trading licence at this premises since March 2014. A full copy of the application is in the agenda on page 23. A map of the area and photos of the premises are included on pages 25 to 31. The application was consulted on and has attracted one objection from Ward Councillor Dominic Gillam. This objection is included on page 33. I have also included information from the Council's Highway Service on page 35 and the Council's Antisocial Behaviour Investigations team on page 37. Adam Stitson from the ASB team is here today should members have any questions. For information, a summary of members' inquiries relating to this premises is included on page 39, and the applicant's representative has provided a letter for your consideration. This letter was sent out to all parties to the hearing on the 2nd of November 2016. The licensing subcommittee are invited to consider this application. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephanie. Okay, we now come to your bit, for the applicant. If you'd like to state your case, obviously I've certainly read in great detail your note that you sent to us, and I have one or two comments to pass after you've spoken regarding some of the content of what you stated. But I'll leave it to you. You know what you've got to do.
Sure.
Off we go.
Normally in the court situation, what I get to do is, although all parties have my representations, but still I get to read everything. So it's entirely up to you. Do you want me to read, although you have read? And if I do read, then perhaps you can stop me and ask me for further clarifications. Would you want me to read?
No, I have no objections to you reading it. Obviously, there are some things in here which are not applicable to what we're here to talk about.
Okay.
And I would ask you to concentrate on the issue that's in front of us, which is the street trading licence, rather than some of the other subjects that you were talking about.
Yes, sir. If I may, the reasons I have highlighted some difficulties and some facts. Of course, these are sounds a bit irrelevant than from this further away from this street trading licence. The reason is that I just wanted to depict that how difficult it is for the business to operate from there, particularly when the business doesn't have any waste disposal facility and there is no loading-unloading bay. And as there's no loading-unloading bay, what happens is every time when Mrs. Singh tries to load and unload, it's a cat-and-mouse situation with the parking attendant. And it's a very hot spot, and Mrs. Singh has had numerous parking contravention bills, and which he, of course, paid. In fact, I tried to come into and negotiate and come into terms with the council that, look, this is a situation to allow. And then what we have seen that council has come and put a very conspicuous note, no loading. I mean, we can see that there's a double yellow line, no loading, and the council has put another no loading, massive thing. So that makes it reinforced that no, you cannot load. Now, if you cannot load or unload, a knick-knack store cannot be operated, cannot be run. And this is a typical example. I have seen this many occasions that has happened in various other parts of our borough. This is really irritating and annoying. I mean, I have had, in the end, I get my bad repute because I always take hands-on, head-on with the council with all these, and I do everything, it's just a matter of good heart. That's what I see, that these people, the small business people, are really suffering, although they're paying their rents and the business rates, huge amount of business rates they do pay. So that is why I had to do this, and particularly in our waste rate. I mean, I've been in waste rating for decades. What I see, waste rating used to be a small village, but now waste rating is coming up like a massive urban area with lots of big buildings being built, etc. And we have in waste rating, forgive me using this, thieving gypsy problems.
I'll have to stop you there. We are on open broadcast, and that is language that I don't expect to hear.
I apologize for what I've said, but thieves are operative in that area, and several times police are called on record, and police came and said that, look, we can't really do anything about it. They come and they take the things and run away, and even I have witnessed in several instances. So these are the hindrance, and particularly very recently. I think behind Mr. Singh's unit, there was a commercial unit. Now, very recently they received a planning consent to build residential units, and that's what they did. But that residential units, they have, I think, how many flats? 6 flats or something?
Yeah.
6 flats.
Four
Four to six flats, but they do not have any waste disposal facilities. They leave their black bags outside with all domestic wastes. These are, that infestation is inevitable. Now, as this is very...
Can I just stop you there? I mean, I can see the way this is going. There are 2 issues appearing. One is waste disposal and the condition of the area, and the other is is he or is he not going too far on the pavement to sell his goods? Now, there are 2 complete issues here, and I would like us to drill down.
You are very right.
Drill down to the point in question. The others will crop up because it's part and parcel of the licensing.
Yes.
But we need to talk about how he deals with the 1 metre in front of his shop, because there is some evidence that I can see in the photographs that it's in excess.
Forgive me, please allow me just a final sentence. Why did I brought that over is because the Councillor Dominic Gillam mentioned that some tipping problem, it's fly tip, etc. And he mentioned about trade waste. Now, if shops selling knickknacks, unperishable items, there is no trade waste as such. So that is why I had to bring that over. Now, yes, going forward, talking about that, how Mr. Singh maintains his pitch, whether he breaches any terms and conditions of his licenses, etc. What I see is, yes, sometimes it happens by a few inches, particularly when this is very windy. And particularly, we have quite a big footpath on that particular place. But most of the time, he is a law-abiding businessman, and I think that is why all these departments, such as this enforcement team, and then the council's contractors, and then the others, even highway. They did not find any contraventions as such. But yes, of course, this is not 2 + 2 4. If he has 1 meter, I can't say that sometimes it is 90 centimeters or perhaps 110 centimeters. It is not a rocket science. It does happen sometimes, but what Mr. Singh does is he's a very prudent person. He rectifies it straight away. Yes, but sometimes he's always vulnerable for other people to pick on things, saying that, okay, you are out by a couple of inches of what you're going to do about it. It is very difficult because he's a small businessman, and this small businessman, being a small businessman, he has to start from even cleaning till his management accounting, from his banking to his tax compliance. Everything he has to do is himself, and plus dealing with thieves and the police and the parking attendants. I think it is quite a tough job for someone, a small business person, to deal with altogether. So answering to your questions, yes, time to time, I wouldn't say that, no, he doesn't, but I think it's an inadvertent bridge, if you call it a bridge. But in the end, I think he tries to run his business prudently and as carefully as possible, which he has done. And particularly with the pictures, photographs, what's taken by the council officers. And in fact, I see it's quite aesthetic. It's very colourful and looks very nice. So it doesn't really damage the look of the street at all.
Well, I mean, that's a matter of opinion as to whether it looks nice or whatever. It certainly looks colourful, but the question is, it also looks jumbled. It doesn't look like there's any order into things. And the question I want to ask is, what happens if somebody wants an article that's at the bottom of the back pile? How do you get it out? Where do you put the rest of it?
Very good question, sir. Now, as you see, the way the Pound Shop Plus works is they work in a very small margin, very small. Therefore, they have to have too much stock to be able to make any money out of it. I mean, barely with a say £700 gross sales, he barely makes about £100 to £150, barely. So therefore, he has to smother his shop and outside the available space with enormous amount of volume. Now, what he does is he has his assistants Now, if somebody comes and says that, okay, can I get something from there underneath which I possibly couldn't get it out myself, he gets help. Sometimes he does it himself. Sometimes he gets it done by one of his assistants who he pays under PAYE.
He wouldn't move them out and stand them on the pavement.
What they would do, simply lift the upper side, whatever the consignments, and then get it out and put it back there. Now, they will not definitely put it on the pavement and then sell it and then put it back or forget all about it. No, they will not do that, definitely not. Because everything, if I may say, he has been running this business for quite a while now. Now, he understands the layout, that what needs to be kept where for other people, for his customers to be able to see it and pick it up. Because, it's no point of things getting hidden where customers can't find things. Therefore, it is very, very important for him to keep things in order, which he has been maintaining for years and years. So, you wouldn't do that, which would be in the detriment of his own interest and his customers' interest.
Okay. I'm listening avidly to what you're saying. No, I'm listening to and making notes in my mind as to what you are saying. But do you think that the pictures on page 27 actually show whether the goods are as they should be, within a metre or over a metre?
Well, probably. Well, it appears to me that my office is very close by. This is to Mr. Singh's premise. Whenever I pass by, the way I see this is it is properly arranged. But if it is out by a few centimeters, it is quite possible. I'm not denying that maybe it is not out by quite. But what Mr. Singh is saying, that as he has by now he has paid over £600 in fines.
But he hasn't paid £600 in fines because of these being oversized. He's paid the fines because of car parking, is it not?
No. I paid for the
for the alleged bridge of this.
What? In the London Borough of Hillingdon?
Yes. Last year, you can say. Yes.
But we have no evidence of that.
Oh, I paid it myself.
Okay, we can.
No, but I have.
They paid it.
Can the officers throw any light on that? Because I haven't got any evidence on the information that's in front of me that there's any payments being made.
We have no information on an FPN or anything similar that was served for contraventions last year for street trading. So I can't verify what's being said.
May I speak?
Yeah, go on.
It was a Sikh guy, Mr. Singh, like me with a turban, and an English lady used to come to me. They make me really tired. They will come. They've been coming twice a day at least, sometime in a Sunday as well. And then they make me sleepless. I was so tired, and I paid it online anyway. It was a not legit one. How come I pay legit ticket? And top of it, they park in double line to take a chance to make me penalty. And one time I put a trolley outside because the wind was really bad. Because of wind, the trolley was swelling out and then going in. And they give me ticket for the swelling out for 3 inch and then it's going in. She measured for 3 inch swelling out. And when I told her, this is disgusting, this is not the right way to do with me, I'm a shopkeeper, I'm making small money, and you're putting me big penalties. And I saw they parking on double line to put me penalty. I said, what is this? And they ran away straight away.
But what was the actual fine for? Were they there from parking to say that you've got a parking penalty, or was it from street trading?
No, for street trading, because the bag was coming out with the wind and then going in again.
Okay. Adam?
Yeah, I'd have to confirm what Stephanie said, which is that there is no record to confirm that these fixed penalty notices.
That's fine. Is that Mr. Singh and an English lady working together as a partner in a licensing penalties officer, or no? They don't work?
Well, not to my knowledge, no. We have a number of officers working for the contractor.
But they've been coming with the proper dress, with the council, Hillingdon Council, everything, last year.
Okay, can we establish this payment through the bank statements and stuff?
I can try, yes.
And if you have any copies of the fixed penalty notices that were given to you, obviously that would be most helpful.
I will try that.
Was it last year?
last year.
2015.
Yes, when I shouted to them, I said, leave us alone, I'm a small businessman. They tried, since then I don't see them again. Since I pictured them, they're parking on double line and giving me penalty, they never came back.
Did you make any payments online, or did you make any...
I'm not sure, sir, because this was few times, to be honest, and I was really tired. I was coming for that. Oh, by the way, yeah, one time I didn't take a penalty. They sent me in a council. They said, if you don't hand over in yourself, you need to come and collect from council. I came to collect from council.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay. I will check those.
And for that, sorry, I'll take your words, but you came for that as well yourself, that my officers are warning you, don't do that again. I said, look, I'm doing a business, sometimes buckets drops, and wind taking the bag out, for 3 inch or 2 inch. It happens. I'm not putting anything outside. Please don't stress me. I'm trying to survive, not to go in a benefit. But they've been making me suffering. I was not sleeping day and night for that time.
Well, Stephanie, who would normally go out and collect money from the shops to say you've been fined, pay up?
It would be under Adam's team, so I'll let him answer that question.
Certainly, the officers would not go out and collect the money. The fixed penalty
They
would be served.
issue me fixed penalty only, yes, true.
And then a payment would have to be made independently, but they would not go to the officers at all. Can I ask a hopefully pertinent question, which is that the officers that you're talking about, were they doing the parking enforcement as well?
No.
No.
No, they're only doing it for the license.
Okay, thank you.
I mean, I just find this unusual and slightly unbelievable. Not that you're not saying exactly as it happened, but there is no record that in front of me that says there's been any fines over the last couple of years. Is that what we looked at, Stephanie?
We went back 12 months in the records. Yeah.
It was more than 12 months.
It was more than 12 months.
They didn't came down. Since I shouted and you parking on double line, giving me penalty for bag coming up, they never came back.
Okay, that needs to be dealt with. We need to find some answers to that. We obviously can't do it today, but we'll try and get some answers later.
Certainly, I'm happy to take that as something, moving forward to go back further in time to get more detailed information.
In the meantime, whatever way you have paid, we shall find out some bank
yes,
statements.
Yes, we will try to find out if I can find my statement, and I might find out through the bank if they want. And I did came to council to pay sometime anyway, because the council called me that we didn't receive your penalty. What do you want to do? And somehow I arranged the money and I paid that.
How did you pay that? By cash?
I think I paid by card. I'm not
card.
remember. I'll have a look in the bank, because it's more than a year now. I don't remember that.
Okay, continue, Mr. Chakrabarti. Yeah.
I don't know where it's left off. Well, the rest of it is really the criticism, because the whole saga, as it's unfolding now, that the council has only done the diligence for only about 12 months, but Mr. Singh is suggesting that he's paid £600 worth of penalty prior to that month, which has to be unearthed. Therefore, in my analysis section, what I've done is out of the whole rigmarole, that was nothing but a criticism. What I've mentioned, that it is our council's best interest to help the business to thrive. So I said that it is not being followed. So that is why what I've written in here is paragraph 2.1 and 10.7 of the policy mentioned at 7.3 legal comments were always adhered as far as possible. And then I said that the evidence in the email dated Friday the 13th September 2016, written by Councillor Dominic Gillam, seemed rather unsubstantiated heresy than the fact. Now, why I used this word, I've picked it up from your matters, your details. I note the wordings of Mr. Gillam's email. Mr. Singh is being a local businessman and contributed his fair share to the Exchequer and registered employer find those words derogatory and demeaning and disrespectful. So I wanted to emphasize on it that although the Honourable Councillor has taken some evidences and even sometimes I think a letter to Mrs. Waterford. That's mute. I've seen the language. I wouldn't write. I wouldn't use those connotations. Writing about a respectable businessman. Where is it? Yes, you're 33, I think. Where? I mean, the last line he says, "For these reasons, I do not think the council should grant the license at this time." I mean, this is rather unacceptable because it makes me look that Mrs. Singh is deliberately doing something to breach on a regular basis as a matter of norm, but which is not the case at all. Therefore, I was rather critical, and that's what I've said. Furthermore, Mr. Singh is very curious to learn from the council that dumping of trade waste that he accused him of in his email to Mrs. Waterford. In fact, Mr. Singh doesn't have any trade waste apart from some cardboard package boxes to clear out every end of the day. And it's very, very clearly established and witnessed by the officer visited in £1 plus management. They manage their own responsibilities regarding the waste disposal, and no formal action was taken. So it is very clearly what I see that these three allegations have been made by the councillor. Sometimes he says that I've witnessed myself, as I quote him, and sometimes he says that I've taken evidences from the local residences, where these all the three, as he says, even he says illegal street trading, which I find it rather unacceptable. And he says highway obstruction. I mean, how did it obstruct a highway where the highway people did not have any say on it? So I was critical on this, and I see that in the bits and pieces of few inches here, few inches there, in and out. If that is a serious breach and warrants that strong language, that really hurts me because the councillor was elected by our vote. So I want the councillor to be respectful and come and talk. But did he come and talk to Mr. Singh and raised this over these issues rather than beating about the bush and talking to other people? They may have prejudice. I do not know. So that is why I have written. And on my last page, I've made this where. Please bear me a sec. Just one second. Even I've said that Appendix 6 on page 2, each accusations Appendix 6, each accusation lodged by Mr. Gillam has been found baseless and unfounded all around. And particularly the fly tipping does not apply. Now, sir, I was referring about this adjacent properties, the way they use their waste management, etc., such as the contiguous charity shop and those 4 other flats. As they do not have any designated waste disposal bin, so they leave things outside for the cats and mouse to prey in. So unfortunately, many people think that, that belongs to Mr. Singh, or that belongs to Mr. Singh. But that doesn't belong to Mr. Singh. Mr. Singh doesn't sell food. Mr. Singh sells some things which rats cannot eat. And he only the cardboard box that gets cleared at the end of the day, every day, and that is well established. So these are the things needs to be looked at. Maybe the fault is on the council's part. Maybe while giving those planning consents to convert a commercial to residential, the things haven't been looked at properly. Thus, somebody else, a legitimate businessman, has to go through this. And another thing I think I have raised is that where the Honourable Councillor has called for the outright revocation, where I said that has the Section 34 offence of the Local Authorities Act 1990 of the street trading been tested this is a clear indication that I do not see that Section 634 was tested before the calling for a outright revocation of Mr. Singh's trade license, knowing the fact that without that little license, Mr. Singh is not going to be able to trade.
Well, that's very easy to answer, insofar as the fact that it hasn't been revocated. That's what this. Therefore, it doesn't apply, because the officer's recommendations is that the license be approved. It's in front of this committee because there was an objection to it, and we're now hearing it as a committee, and it's the decision that's made today will decide whether it's revoked or not. So that Article 28, 29 and 34, I think it is does not apply.
I only raised this, sir, because the last line I could not sleep with. It's all those reasons I do not think that council should grant this license. This is very, very tough words from someone who we elected.
You're used to speaking, and clearly you wouldn't want to be a councillor if they're tough words, because there's no other way you can say when you've written something saying I object to this.
Maybe a little probabilistic, perhaps.
For these reasons, I do not think the council should grant the licence at this time. Now, if he really wanted, he could say, I do not think this person should ever hold a licence in the London Borough of Hillingdon. That's different. He's saying, and I'm sure Councillor Gillan can speak for himself and will do, because he's next on. I certainly don't think it's a harsh thing to be saying. One might wish to say in defence of the council, or whatever it is, that to say. Your comments at the beginning about the travellers is a far worse comment to make than I don't think that this licence should be granted. That is a comment that I was shocked, quite frankly, at hearing. It's not the way we speak in the council. However, you've made your case. It's highlighted certain things that we're going to have to do some investigatory work on. But in doing that investigatory work, if we find that we have issued 6 or 7 notices where you've infringed, you're actually beginning to condemn yourself, because it means you've had the fines because you've been over the 1 metre. Right? At this moment in time, we can't find any evidence that you have been over the 1 metre, right? But if we go back 2 years, we might find then that you have been over the 1 metre and you have received 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fines, right? You appreciate that?
Yes, of course.
Right?
Yes.
But the decision has to be taken here today without that information, okay? If you are finished, I'd like to bring Councillor Gillam in to let us, and then we can sort it out, not necessarily across the 4, just remember you're talking through the chairman, and keep it as good as we can. Councillor Gillam.
Thank you, Chairman. Yeah, just to clarify, I am the West Drayton Ward Councillor, and I was contacted for my comments on this application. I am aware of the shop. I go past it most days of my life. I've walked past that shop every day for 8 years with my children going to school. I've reported it on numerous occasions for infringements, and I think the applicant's representative clearly demonstrated he doesn't understand street trading policy. He started off by making some very harsh words about members of my community, which wouldn't welcome the statement you made today, and you've made it in public. Just to clarify.
I can substantiate it. How many
you can
times
substantiate
police? Yes. How many times police have been called because of thieving people? I can.
No, sorry, sir. You didn't, in the public domain, your letter didn't say thieving people. It referred to a certain type of person in my community, and I was more than disgusted at that words. I'm sorry that my line, for these reasons, I do not think the council should grant the licence. You seem as being so harsh. But let me assure you, that won't get broken windows in a shop. What you've said is very derogatory to a personal, large community in West Drayton, and I don't welcome. But, Chairman, I'm here now because of this application. I can evidence today that it is too large on every day of the week, constantly, and they do not adhere to our own criteria, Chairman, where our own criteria make sure that we must maintain and tidy at all times throughout the trading day. They do not do that, Chairman. It's also, Chairman, the hours of the licence interest me very much. I see that they've applied for a 9 till 7 in the actual application form, but in the submission by his representative, he states that he doesn't come in till 10 o'clock. So therefore, the actual application will be in breach because the street trading licence has to be within the hours that the store is open. And also, the claims, Mr. Chairman, that this enhances the street scene. Our own policy, which we've got to look at the 2015 policy, it has been adopted by Council. It's not on our website. The only policy is 2010, but I have a copy of the 2015 street trading policy. And it clearly states, Chairman, that the appearance of the trading area, whether the street trading is properly constructed and presented, enhances the aesthetics of the street scene of the area. Now, clearly, I have photographs, you've seen photographs. This does not enhance the street scene. Now, I'm glad that the applicant admitted to the numerous FPNs for offences. I would hope, Chairman, that today we can hear from officers they were factual, because it shows this is a continual problem, a continual breach. But, Chairman, I'm very concerned about the hearsay. So, your acceptance, these are photographs I have taken personally when I've visited the area. If I can just pass them to you. The first one is just on the top hand. It will say number 1. They can go around to there as well. These are photographs of the actual site.
You accept that these
I've got a copy for this gentleman as well.
Yeah, but you've got to
Do you accept?
Well, no, can he look at them first?
Yeah.
Can he
Well, look at them
You
first,
accept
yeah.
that they're your shop, and also on Saturday when I visited.
Maybe private land.
Yeah. Okay, yes.
Do you accept they're your site?
Yes.
Okay, so the photograph number 1 was taken some weeks ago, and you're seeing a shopping trolley and some large shelving units. That's what number 1. Then after that, you'll see photographs that were taken on Saturday. The relevance being, it's the same area, and you'll see that the shopping trolley has remained. Our street trading policy asks you to keep the area clear at the end of every day. And also, the last photograph you'll see I took this morning at 4 a.m. The reason I took a photo at 4 a.m. is because I get up very early for my own business. But also, it indicates, Chairman...
But that's his land.
That indicates, Chairman, that area that you indicates his land has those items... Chairman, sorry. It indicates that land has those items beyond the trading hours. Now, he said he doesn't have any trade waste. They're shelves. That, for me, is trade waste. I understand clearly that it's his own land. But in our street trading policy, it clearly states, and I will quote it for you, because I'm aware in the pack you don't have that. 8.2 of our street trading policy, Chairman, it says... Chairman, I just need to... I feel all councillors need to be aware of this because it's not in your pack today. 8.2 clearly says, the trader shall keep the pitch area and its environs, which is the area near to it, up to 5 metres in any direction from the pitch, clean and swept-free of all remaining debris throughout the street trading day. In particular, it shall be duty of every trader, that's you, sir, to pick up the litter, debris, packaging and detritus have been produced by the course of street trading, or any that could be reasonably assumed to be produced, or from any other source. I accept fully, Chairman, we do have problems with a charity shop across the road, not in the pictures, not a concern today. I accept fully we do have a problem from the 4 flats of Aria House, one of which I do members' inquiries for on a weekly basis. Adam Stitson will be able to qualify that. We now have a CCTV camera on that site, not this site. But our own policy instructs any street trader to keep the area clean and tidy at all times throughout the street trading day, 5 metres around the street trading site. From those pictures, sir, at 4 a.m. this morning, it clearly shows the rubbish that was there on Saturday was still there at 4 o'clock. He's not adhering to the policy. And I just want to clarify, I visited the site myself, spoken to people outside, spoken to this gentleman with the white term on more than one occasion. No, I've asked you to take the cardboard off there, and you said, this is my land. I instructed someone from Asbit to go out, who came back with a very poor response to me, that it wasn't relevant because it's private land. I then replied and said, the street trading policy clearly indicates a 5 metre rule. So that's why I say this representative doesn't understand it. He's clearly demonstrated he doesn't understand West Drayton by the comments he's made by some of the residents there, and I don't accept what he said there. And Chairman, I just hope that we can actually clearly not give a street cleanliness at this time, and that's what I've requested. I'm sorry if you think that's derogatory, defamatory, or disrespectful, but it's my opinion. I'm entitled to it. The people who've asked me to be here today, the residents of Cherry Orchard, are fed up with looking at the end of their road and seeing tit-tat rubbish and out in our high street. It does not make West Drayton look better. You can clearly see from the pictures. And Chairman, just before we finish, page 29 of the members' pack, you'll see the only useful photograph from licensing, because it has their tape measure on the floor. It indicates the flagstone is of 15 inches. 15 inches, Chairman, is 38.1 centimetres. So therefore, 2.4 of those would be on the street trading licence. So that all the pictures clearly indicate this is always above a metre. He can't keep breaking the law and saying he's a law-abiding citizen. He can't keep doing illegal activities and pointing the finger at me. I was elected to make sure that West Drayton is a better place. This shop doesn't make it a better place, and the disgusting comments from his representative really I do not accept.
Thank you, Councillor Gillam. Stephanie, would you like to comment on the 2015 street trading as to what, I mean, it actually says that?
The policy, you mean? I've got a copy for members here if you'd like to, and I've highlighted the bits that Councillor Gillam's referred to. I'll just pass that over.
Okay. So, have you got a question? Fire away.
Right, looking at these pictures on page 3.
The morning one.
Morning one or the...
That's the Saturday
Right.
one. Yeah.
We're looking at the... No, that's not... I mean, they're on both page 3, 2 and 3. Those there.
We see.
Is that your rubbish?
It's
Let me answer this
refurbishing stuff I'm using at the moment to refurbish my shop. I'm refurbishing my shop. It's
Right.
not my waste.
It is not a wait. Let me speak.
No,
Lady,
no.
It is not a waste. It is not trade rubbish. It is Mr. Singh is refurbishing his shop, so it goes in and out and
Shelving.
stays as shelves. Sometimes it goes in, sometimes it comes out, and it is as Mr. Gillam said himself that it's his private area, but it's not always like that at all. Sometimes he has been working like midnight, so sometimes it's very difficult.
From Saturday night till Monday morning.
Yeah, because he did not have any other ways to clear it before the job is done. So that is why it was well accepted by the locals. The locals did come and inquire that we can see some these things and shelves, yes. And well, as present, Mr. Singh said that yes, and they said okay, fine. The shop is getting better look. So yes, we can put up with it for a little more. And in fact, a lady asked in front of me that when do you think that this is going to get cleared out? Give me a date. I was there at that time, and then Mr. Singh said that by Tuesday, Wednesday it's going to be done, and there's not going to be any clutter. And this shopping trolley, it's
So has this waste gone now?
No, still.
no, it is still there. It is still there because the refurbishing is still going on. And so quite a big refurbishing is going on.
But you've just told us that it was going to be cleared by
Wednesday.
Tuesday. Or Wednesday.
Tuesday.
So are you saying Wednesday next week?
Following. No, this is coming Wednesday, then Tuesday, Wednesday. Coming Tuesday. That was a conversation I've had, I think, last Friday. That is a reason.
Bearing in mind, we've just had bonfire night, and
Yeah, I was there at the time.
Did you not think that was hazardous to leave that there?
No, because it is a cul-de-sac. People do not have access. As you see, the walls are kind of L-shaped.
Sir, with the greatest respect, young people, when they're thinking of lighting a bonfire, you know, they haven't got the sense that an older person would have. They would think, wow, a match under that, it'd go up. And so would your business. Do you think that is sensible?
Well, the thing is...
Let the gentleman speak, please, you know.
Yeah, no, okay. The thing is, look, this is autumn, ma'am.
I know it's autumn. Matches like fire.
It is autumn. Look at the trees. The leaves are all dry. So if somebody wants to lit a fire, they can by all means do it anything. And these are not easily flammable. These are not proper wood. These are all what's called pressured wood. It's very difficult to flame. But if we go into that kind of argument, anything can happen at any time. But this is a very particular time when this company, this shop is going through a very big overhaul. So I think that even as a resident, I would put up with it for a few days because we are getting a very good and refurbished shop in here. So I accept your point, but it is a matter of kind of, okay, fine, let me use your space a little, I'll let you use my space a little for a temporary time.
Who actually owns that bit of land?
Mrs. Singh.
Mine.
Yeah.
Well, don't you think it would have been advisable to put some
Fence.
tape or something around it to say
You are very right.
in use? It would make the area look tidier.
You are very right.
Because if I looked at that, I'd say it's rubbish, and I wondered why it hasn't gone on a bonfire. But if it's going to go in the shop, and that is his land, it shows that he cares for how the neighbourhood looks, and let's just tape it off. And I think that's what the council is worried about.
Yeah, it is done. Well, I mean, it's a very temporary thing, Sir Chairman.
Well, I'm speaking as well.
Yeah,
so don't try to scare me.
Yeah. It is a very temporary thing, Mr. Chairman. The thing is, it's not going to be there for longer. And when I started my conversation, as I said, that this is a very small business, so it is very, very difficult to pinpoint everything perfectly to run this business, because this Mr. Singh does things from the top to bottom. It's very difficult to be doing everything perfectly, properly. Otherwise, we wouldn't have been here. So he maintains that this is my place. Leave me alone for a little few days. Let me do my shop done. And once this is done, nothing can be found. And yes, of course, he does sometimes put his cardboard box. I think where he gets his merchandise. But that cardboard box all gets cleared out at the end of the day. Unfortunately, it cannot be binned because there is no bin provided by the council. So he couldn't possibly take every other hour to go and drop this to his contracted recycling facility. So we have a definite serious problem there. So getting around it and still making a living, that's the trick. I think that is what Mrs. Singh is trying to do.
But if you look on page 27, the photograph on page 27, which was taken a long time ago, you will see that there is a bit of a shelving around the corner at that stage. Right? So something's been there.
Yes.
Until November the 6th. 7th forward. I mean, it's that rubbish has been there.
That shelf, one I put outside, only one with the tape. For 2 days I was putting outside and taking it out every day, and it's next to drum, if you can see.
Yeah.
And I was always putting a safety with it, and behind the drum I used to keep it, not in the front as well. If you can see, he didn't take a photo in the front, so he can confront me. Only he's taken a photo of one single shelf was there. I was taking out every day and putting it in until I do one shelf finish. So he came in the daytime and taken a picture.
It's not true to say that that's like a little cul-de-sac. It's not. It's a road with people going past into their houses.
No, this is behind the tree.
No. This is behind the tree.
This is behind the tree. Behind my drum.
But there's a road in front of it.
Yeah.
Of that.
But that's an
the council owns the pavement.
Yes.
And you own the
Yeah, L-shaped.
The little L-shaped bit.
L-shaped
Yes.
bit, yes.
It was
Yeah.
there.
L-shaped bit.
In the
Yes.
action.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is why your stock that's outside overlaps the front of £1 plus, and because your shop front continues on until you get to the
Yes.
that wall, right?
Yes, yes, true.
Yes, go ahead, Brian. Let's Brian have a.
Yeah, you said just a short while ago about the refurbishment will be finished soon.
Yes, it is
How soon are you talking about?
I think by end of this week.
Wednesday,
Thursday.
Wednesday, maximum Thursday finish.
Let's say by end of this week.
Yeah.
Definitely by Friday.
And the
it's gonna be done.
photograph on page 29, the view of the front of the shop.
Page 29.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
picture, yes.
You got a sort of an A-frame thing on the pavement near the curb. Is that yours?
What is it?
Oh, this is
Advertising your sale.
Advertising board.
the
It's gone, yeah.
yeah,
I
that
used
is,
to
that
have
was
that for...
that was kept, I think, for a day or two, and then
Yeah,
it
and
was
it's
taken
gone.
away.
So that's gone now?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
But bear in mind that is obstructed the pavement. If you're a blind person walking along, you'll go straight into it. Plus the fact they've got to negotiate the sign, the 2 poles, as well as your 1 metre extra
Admitted,
allowance.
yes. But it was taken away at the later stage.
We're told that piece of land to the side is yours, and we're being told that there is a continuous problem with you storing rubbish there, cardboard to take away. Have you not ever considered that, bearing in mind it's an eyesore, have you never considered of sectioning that off, be it a piece of fencing or something, that so nobody would see?
Yes, I did think about it, but as I don't want to mention the names of a community, they're passing by and they're throwing a lot of rubbish with the black bag in it and some tough items that I don't want to involve in it. So that's why I keep it open. I leave it open. As you can see, someone left a trolley as well there. It shouldn't be there if it's fence. But I don't want to cover and involve in this one, and everybody's throwing rubbish inside. Every evening when I go, I'll clean it with the brush in that area.
I'm hearing what you're saying, but
Yes.
you've told us that you've had so far £600 worth of fines
Yes.
for rubbish.
Mhm.
Measure that against that's coming out of your pocket,
Yes.
as opposed to putting a sign up saying I will not be held responsible for.
That is very
Needles
good
and-
idea to have it. So I will keep it in my mind, and I'll put some sign on my wall. But putting a fence makes more people to put more rubbish inside. But I will put a sign. That's a good idea to have. I will take a note of this one.
We have lots of fly tipping problems.
Yeah,
in
I'll
Uxbridge.
sell it sign myself, so I'll put it today. even.
So, with the greatest respect, the fly tipping you've got there that we've seen is your own. It's not
Because you see, whenever we see clutter of bins, we kind of tend to throwing even our chewing gum there.
That's
Unbelievable. I've seen many occasions. That's why I do not chew a chewing gum.
People drink, throw
Yeah,
things
throw
there.
into the
That's why I
cans.
keep it open, and I keep it every evening when we go. We always take our boxes and any rubbish, I'll brush it.
But what-
Because people just keep throwing it's a corner. People try to
Yeah.
throw rubbish.
What we're saying is, but the onus for being a street trader is on you to ensure that it's always kept clean. And it's always there. I mean, if you've got a McDonald's, they have got to clear 5 metres in front of it and move
I
all the
wish
bags
I
and
was
all
an
the bottles.
officer and I was a tricky like him, opening at 4 o'clock morning and taking a picture from 1 year. I would show you every evening I'm cleaning that area for pupils' waste even, not for my own boxes. I clean pupils. But what can I do? I'm not tricky. I'm not a CID officer. I'm not waking up 4 o'clock morning and going taking pupils' picture. So I'm a normal man. What can I do? I can tell you from my
Well,
mouth, I promise to God that I was cleaning every evening. I was taking my boxes.
You can-
That's all I can say.
You can do your absolute utmost to ensure that you stick with the licence provisions that are
Of course.
that are put down
Of course.
for you, which is that you don't go 1.2 metres, 1.1. You do your absolute utmost to stick to that.
Yeah.
Then you look at the area and you say, I'm going to have to shift that. I'm fed up with these people
I found
putting waste there.
that
I will
way.
get a skip or something or anything to
No.
put it in and seal it off so that I'm not going to get the blame for this.
I was trying to say to Mr. Chakrabarti as well that I've ordered trolleys now, 90 centimeter trolleys. I will leave 10 centimeter for Mr. as well, so he can measure it. I will only order 90 centimeter of a trolleys. I can keep everything inside the trolley, so I don't need to go 1 meter.
Is that a bit like, it's not shelving, it's things on wheels?
It's shelving on a wheel, yeah.
Well, I was about, that would have been something that I would have been
I've
going
ordered
to suggest
already.
myself, because it's tidier,
Yeah,
it's quicker,
yeah, and I'm
And it
tired
looks-
as well taking out every day
and
to
it
be honest,
looks
yeah.
better.
Yeah, it's true. I did that already next week coming. After refurbishing finish, I can bring more stock. I can't bring everything together. So next week, hopefully, that trolleys are coming as well. They are only 90 centimeter wide, so it's not 1 meter even. So someone can take a photo.
Yes, I know, but you won't put anything in front of that 90 centimetres saying I've got half a dozen buckets here
No,
that can go on, which then leave us back to the same problem, right?
It's not going to happen.
No, it's not going to happen because I put more shelving inside as I'm doing refurbishing. I increase my shelving, so I have more space inside instead of putting outside. I got my knees problem as well, picking up a thing from about 3 years. So I don't want to do that anymore. I've got the children to survive.
I was going to ask you about that as inside. It looks like the whole of the inside is actually on the outside. That was when I look at these as to how much room are you going to make on the inside in this refurbishment to take some of this, right? Which would lessen the street problem.
He's cutting down his cost in his stock as well.
I'm cutting my stock.
Because while doing this refurbishment, he's found that 20 to 25% of his stock is rather very, very unmovable. I mean, he hadn't sold for over a year, so he can get rid of it and then he can shrink and then only make those things available, which is very quickly turns over. So it is going to be far, far better than what it used to be. And I think Mr. Singh has had enough of this skirmish every now and then.
Councillor Gillam.
Chairman, just clarify, we're in the discussion area. I just want a couple of points. I keep hearing from the representative and the applicant about they'll tidy up at the end of the day. They clearly have demonstrated again they do not understand the street trading policy. The policy stipulates you may shake your head, sir, but it stipulates it's a continuous cleaning process. You've admitted cleaning at the end of the day. You also said about 4 a.m. Just clarify, that's when I go to work. It wasn't even tricky. I drive past there on the way to work. I'm a milkman, so I get up a little bit earlier than you, and that's why I managed to take it at 4 o'clock. Also, the representative talked about the cardboard, and he said that they couldn't get rid of it during the day because there wasn't a bin around. It's an offence to put any trade waste in a bin in the street, just to make you aware of that. So I'd recommend you don't do that. The 5 metre rule clearly indicates our criteria that you cannot have anything left within 5 metres of the street trading area. They've indicated on more than one occasion, you've seen the evidence, that they keep doing it. The reason I'm here is because the residents of Cherry Orchard have contacted me, as I said in my emails. They have contacted me. They are fed up with looking at all this rubbish at the end of their road. So I really hope that you can make a decision today that clearly indicates that. The gentleman keeps going back to the same things, saying, yes, we're going to move it. I don't have faith in him, sir. I would be very happy that if he was then to get the new items, he would come back and evidence it and then put an application in. But currently, with this does not enhance the street scene, and we would be going against our own policy.
May I?
Thank you. Have you anything to add to that?
Yeah, of course, yes,
you will be speaking last. Okay?
Yes. Now, what Councillor Gillam, sorry, have I pronounced your name right? Okay. Failed to understand is priorities. This is not central London. This is I see a dim corner of the world. See if we dim corner of the world. That's what I see.
Sorry, just to clarify, you say West Drayton is a dim corner of the world.
Yeah, that's how I see it. My personal opinion, I think. Now, the thing is, the points you have raised, if these points are considered and he loses his license over conjecture that he has failed before, he will fail again, he is going to lose his business. And he is a business ratepayer, he's a taxpayer, and it is not going to be anybody's best interest for a businessman to go, because we have many impediments which have already met. Can you hear me? Hello? Oh, yes. We have many impediments and problems which are... It's gone again. I think it keeps going.
Yeah, there's a problem.
Okay. Yes. Yeah. We have quite a bit of an impediment and hindrance in running business, particularly this kind of knick-knack business there. Now, obviously, you mentioned quite a few clauses and rules mentioned into our statute book. Now, there are something mentioned as well in here which is I think I have noted here. In 7.3 legal comment, paragraph 1.3, the policy states the council is keen to create a thriving business trading environment, and there are many things, ... and enhance the trading and business opportunities in the borough. Now, with due respect, Mr. Councillor, what you are suggesting is very harsh, unfriendly to the business. I cannot admit to this, and if I do, I'm going to end up losing one very good business which has been serving the community for a few years, good few years, from our street. Whoever comes here, they will have the same problem, because we have double yellow line, no parking, no loading, unloading, and no waste disposal facility. We will keep having this. And Mr. Singh managed to maintain this business with a very marginal profit from his business, only simply due to the fact that he's a very good businessman and he sells his products, his goods, his merchandise, as a very nominal profit margin. And what I personally find is this shop serves very well. I mean, of course, after we have had Wilkinson came in the place of Tesco's, as you see, Mr. Singh is struggling. I must say that Mr. Singh is struggling. He pays over £350 worth of business rate. I see he is one man starting his work at 10 and working till 10, half 10 at night, trying to make his living. Plus, if he has to spend enormous amounts of time with this legal rigmarole to be or forced into the stringent framework of the law, which is impossible. This is not the only one place I have seen these alleged contraventions have happened. I've seen various places. Like I said before, that I not only work as an accountant, but I work as an Ethiopian, and I try to help people when I see that this thing is, in my opinion, is out of proportion. The amount of pressure has been being put on Mr. Singh is out of proportion, sir. So I think that, yes, with due respect, whatever you said I heard, and I honor that, but I want to reiterate that the 7.3 legal comment, if I follow it literally, word by word, verbatim, the council is keen to create thriving street environment, yes, I see, and enhance the trading business opportunities. What Mr. Councillor is suggesting is contrary to the fact of that enhancing the business opportunities by the council. Therefore, what I would say is that why don't we think, well, this is a bit of out of line, I'm going to say, may I, at the moment, although it is said that 1 meter, maybe going forward, why don't we think of increasing that 1 meter territory to another few centimeters or stuff. But what I'm saying that it is not going to, it is just, I just said it because sometimes we do send things through judicial reviews. But next time, what Mr. Singh has already proposed, that he has ordered trolleys 90 centimeters, so therefore he'll have 10 centimeters to play with. These contraventions, as alleged, is not going to happen. What I see is, Mr. Singh cannot run away. I want the panel to understand this. Mr. Singh cannot run away. The people can fly tip and run away. the people, those who are living there, residing there, can keep their bins very close to Mrs. Singh's bin. Apparently looks that, oh, that must be Mrs. Singh's bin. On the other hand, the people in the contiguous the charity shop, I can see in several locations people do dump their stuffs there. So they dump and run away. So they cannot be caught. But in the end, who can be caught? Mrs. Singh. Why? Because he's always there. It is his shop. It is his living. That's how he meets his ends. So it is an unfortunate situation that we are thinking of Mrs. Singh as a culpable. But it is not. I can tell you, it is not. Mr. Singh is a legitimate business owner. He pays his taxes. He does everything utterly possible within his range. But yes, we are human beings. Time to time, we do things inadvertently which may contravene time to time. But I deny to accept that Mr. Singh's shop is not aesthetic. I deny to accept that it makes the end of the road, the view of the end of the road is ugly. I think that the charity shop's donations make the end of the road far uglier than what Mr. Singh. But at the moment, Honourable Councillor has taken the pictures. This is kind of, I caught your pants down at the moment. So this is, at the moment, he was caught when he is going through a major overhaul. So please, I would advise that please ignore this and be compassionate and be business-friendly, as our 7.3 legal comments claim. And let's give Mr. Singh another chance to see that whether he adheres to his own claims, which he has just made, that he has bought 90 centimeters trolley. And let's keep an eye for a few months to see that whether he is abiding by the rules or he is gone back to that same state what Honourable Councillor has been alleging. So that is why I think that although he has paid his fee, but I think the council is unlawfully upholding the council the license. I think he has made the payment, but the council is upholding it. Therefore, I think the council must grant the street license, or else this business will cease to function. This business will not function. The business will die because his profit margin is very, very, very low. So this is my heartfelt request. On behalf of Mr. Singh, please allow him, as he is running, and keep him in watch for a few months to see any possible contravention. If there is none, then let's continue. And if there is any, well, let's go through the revocation process. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, and that's your closing submission. Licensing officer, do you wish to make a closing submission at all? No, and that's his closing submission. Yeah, we're out of the. Yeah, and you'll be going next.
We'll see.
Do you want to make any...
I've got nothing to add, Chairman.
Okay. Councillor Gillam.
Thank you, Chairman. Just clarify, so the applicant will get a chance to speak after this.
Yes.
I'm very happy. Can I ask the representative to turn off his microphone, please? Mr. Chakravarti. Thank you. The admittance here and the suggestion that we should... the law is impossible. He's admitted constant infringement, but apparently is alleged. Well, if you're admitting constant infringement, sir, you're admitting that you're breaking the law, so this is not alleged. No, this is what you actually stated, and you've also asked the council to rewrite policy to give you a few more centimetres. Councillors, you clearly have an indication of a policy that's just been adopted by this council, and in it clearly stipulates any street trading must enhance the street scene. Now, you have photographs from officers and myself. In no way does this street trading application, because that's what we're talking about. We're not talking about fly tipping at another place. Unfortunately, we're only looking at this street trading application. In the street trading application, the criteria, it clearly states you must keep clear the area and the surrounding area for 5 metres at all times.
May I?
The gentleman has indicated and been honest that he left some shelving because he has no trade waste. How can we believe that a shop operates with no trade waste? I'm very concerned about what happens to the rubbish that he has created in his shop. There must be some plastics. There must be something else than cardboard created in a shop. But I'm very concerned because he's admitted that he just takes it in at the end of the night. So he breaches the licence constantly. He's very kindly admitted to £600 worth, which in my rudimentary maths is 8 FPNs. This is a consistent breach. Now, I'm sorry if he feels this is victimisation, but the law is very clear. It says you can have 1 metre. That's what the gentleman's asked for. He keeps going past it. Unfortunately, he uses the side area as a dumping ground. He claims it's his own land. That may well be, but because it's within 5 metres of street trading, he's in breach again. I mean, there's many things that the representatives... Mr. Singh, I would advise you probably to look elsewhere for representation in future, because obviously this gentleman who claims to be from the... I think he's from the local Liberal Democrats. You put that down. I mean, whether they would like to hear your statement about the thieving individuals you claim, I'm pretty disgusted about that. But this...
How many times do you have to mention that? You have mentioned already, and I've apologised. How many times do you have to apologise for it?
Well, I would advise you...
Several times.
Gentlemen, you get a chance to come back. When he's finished, you can come back.
This is reiteration, sir. Reiteration. To keep thinking, hammering down on my head. I'm having headache.
Don't.
I'm sorry if you've got a headache, but it's a fact. You put it in the public domain. I'll keep mentioning it, sir, if you put it in public domain. And...
Okay. Quiet. You're going to get a chance to come back, not before.
Thank you, Chairman. I will keep going. But what he's asked you to do is ignore the facts. There are facts here from residents who've contacted me. I mean, Chairman, I note in your pack from officers there's no actual responses from the contact centre, which is a shame, because the contact centre on more than one occasion is the point of call for all our residents. And the street champions in Cherry Orchard, from Cherry Orchard Residents Association, copy me into those. Now, they're not my missives regarding this, but just one of them on the 30th of August from a resident raises the question and sends a picture, again, to our contact centre of dumping of rubbish on that land. Now, that's not before you today, sir, and I would like to ask officers why we haven't spoke to contact centre and to see if there's anything raised by residents, but they are concerned. And the lady actually says today's offering from £1 plus. Now, that indicates that it's an ongoing problem. So I welcome street trading as long as it adheres to the policies we've adopted. This clearly doesn't. He's demonstrated throughout many years that he can't, or he's not willing to. His representative thinks we should just let the meter go a little bit and that'll be okay. Rewrite the policy, was the words he asked for. He's admitted constant infringements, and apparently that makes my accusations alleged when they've been proven today in front of you. You've accepted you dump rubbish. You've accepted you leave it for overnight. You've accepted as well, which is important, in their application, they say the street trading will start at 9 a.m. Now, on more than one occasion, they said 10 a.m. So you need to tidy that up straight away because the application form is wrong. Chairman, I just hope you go against officers' recommendation and today, at the current time, refuse this temporary street trading application. It's not to say when he can evidence, because he cannot evidence currently that he can adhere to the policy, but if he can come back and adhere to the policy, then we welcome a good street trader that enhances the street scene. This clearly doesn't, and he infringes far too often. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Gillam. Mr. Chakravarti, you may come back on that.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. No, I haven't heard anything from Honourable Councillor which I have heard your previous statement. You reiterated everything what you have said last time, and that is why I said that you just keep hammering the same words again and again and again. I have admitted I'm in breach, etc. No, I'm not admitting anything at all. Now, the thing is, what I said, that time to time, it is not a mathematics 2 plus 2, 4. Time to time, we do things, little more, little less. And please do not take my word saying that I have requested the council to change the policy to increase it from 1 metre to 1.2. That was not my advice. I said that possibly that is an opinion. So I haven't advised that. I have no way of my position to advise that. And on the other hand, the way you are using your stringent words, I do not see it as business friendly at all. We do not have many street traders in waste trade. Not that well. What I said is on that patch of and on that patch, and particularly when it is when it is a particularly knick-knack with a very small profit margin, with a very small bits and bobs, etc. We have only one apart from Wilkinson. And on the other hand, so Councillor, you keep mentioning about the past, and you mentioned about the self-victimization or about the £600 penalties. And I have mentioned it several times that I do not believe those £600 penalties were all the time imposed for his own fault. Because I mentioned several times, that there are various other problems in that wee little area. So sometimes, as Mr. Singh cannot run away, he has to stand there and take the blame. And he appears to be culpable where he is not. Now, he has honoured the call from the council and yourself and took himself out from his business and came here to testify, for justice, not to hear that I don't want to give him the license, revoke the license, because you are a democratically elected our representative. We want you to talk at least not in our favour, but at least inclination that okay, we understand. Let's find out that what this gentleman can do, what this business can do in the forward, because he has already said that he has spent a considerable amount of money, Mr. Chairman, to refurbish his office, his store, and where he says that he has found out 20 to 25% very non-moving items, so there are going to be considerable less stock what he used to have, and now he has spent another set of money to buy all those 90 centimeters wheel, whatever it is, the trolleys. Now again, I had to reiterate which I've already said in my final statement, because Mr. Councillor is pushing on the stringently on the revocation. Now, again, it is going to be a reiteration that if you revoke this license on this, whatever had happened historically, this business will suffer. This business has employees. It is a employer registered business. It pays its PAYE contributions, national insurance contributions. It pays its business rates, and it pays its own taxes. So I do not think it is going to be too business friendly with the revocation. Particularly when I see that we have an enormous area there. It is not that, if you go to Ealing, there is no place to walk. My God, I mean, even.
But that isn't relevant.
Okay, that is not relevant.
Ealing's Ealing, and it doesn't surprise me.
Can you stop defaming the area I was?
All right. Okay. Well, I'd say that. I mean, there's no. I mean, please, Councillor, abstain from reiterating which you have already said, and I shall not say the things again and again. All I would say that please. He has already made the payment for the next license. The council is withholding it. Please allow it and see it for a few months, and let's see how he is behaving. I think that would be the most business-friendly approach to Mr. Singh, who has been operating his business for so many years and serving his community. Yeah, go on.
So, talking about the rubbish that he blamed me that I don't have a contract to throw the plastic and carbon waste. I think it's him himself. He sent me a few times now, officers, to check it, and I show him a slip that I have a contract till January 2017, and he's checked it there that I can throw plastic and cardboard, and I'm taking every day there. And although I was throwing before as well when I got penalty 12 months ago, I was throwing in the same place. I can take in recycling center if they will take it, but they said you need to have a contract. So I paid them, and I'm paying from last 2 year contract as well, through the contract. And their officer keep coming and checking that I have a rubbish throw place. It's not that I'm dumping somewhere. I'm paying for that. Yeah, and although I don't know why they mentioned that I'm submitting that I'm throwing the boxes on the road or plastic on the road. Oh, I'm cooking up food and I'm throwing on the road because I don't do food item. I don't know why he's been saying that. I'm really surprised.
It is on the page 39, very clearly mentioned that you do have a contract.
Okay. I think we've reached that point where we have to deliberate, so can I ask all the people that are not involved in the deliberation to leave, and we will duly do it.
Thank you, sir.